So in this video, I will show you the first pictures of the Firefly swap station, and we'll also talk about CATL potentially buying NIO Power. Is NIO selling out its future? What's going on with all this in this one video? Guys, 2 days ago I told you about SXTP, and that stock went from 1.78 all the way up to as high as 4.2, 4.3. Crazy jump. And today I got another one for you. The sponsor of this video is Avalon GloboCare Corp. It is dedicated to developing and delivering innovative, transformative precision diagnostics and clinical laboratory services. Their main strategy is to acquire ownership or license right in precision diagnostic assets, genetic testing, and clinical laboratory companies through joint ventures, share ownership structures, or distribution rights. They plan to play a leading role in the innovation of diagnostic testing, utilizing proprietary technology to deliver precise genetics-driven results. As a first major step into the laboratory market, they completed an acquisition of a 40% membership interest in Laboratory Services MSO LLC, which closed in February 2023. So, of course, they have several core products. For example, they do laboratory services, which is their main services, blood work testing, all that kind of stuff. If you need to get your blood checked up, they have those services for you. And then they also have other core technologies. For example, they have keto air breathalyzer to analyze your ketone levels when you breathe, all these cool stuff. And it's a very cool company. Now, definitely add them to your watch list. Ticker symbol is ALBT, currently trading at $3.93 per share. Add them to your watch list. Keep an eye out for them because, it could be very interesting. All right. Not financial advice. So just keep an eye out for them. Add them to your watch list. As always, let's get back to the video. So here, this is an image of Firefly in a Firefly swap station. We know for a fact that Firefly's next generation vehicle will be able to use CATL's EVO-GO system, or the chocolate battery swap, and it will pretty much use the CATL system. But that means the first gen Firefly cars, which are coming very soon, and by the way, they are actually in stores now. In some stores, you can see them already in the stores. And yeah, very nice. So very close to launch. They're launching officially on April 19th, and it's already in some stores. So very soon, deliveries will start, and deliveries are actually about to begin very soon. So Firefly will have its own swap station because the dimensions are a little bit smaller, the first gen Firefly car, and it can't use NIO's existing swap station. So that's what you're seeing in this picture. Now, what I think might happen is that for future, like Gen 2 Firefly cars, it will be able to use the EVO-GO system, and I think it might also be able to use NIO's 5th generation swap station, perhaps. I'm not too sure, but I think in the future, they would want one swap station that can use all the different batteries, right? And not just NIO and Envo, but also with Firefly. That would be really nice, but maybe that's not going to happen. Maybe they're just going to use EVO-GO and, be done with it. So definitely very nice, but that does mean they're going to have to, deploy these Firefly swap stations for the first gen Firefly cars and then see how it goes. They're going to definitely deploy it and see how the sales are doing before deploying it. So unlike with NIO, they just, build swap stations wherever they can. With Firefly, it's you get some customer base and then they build a swap station. And now this is the very important part. Is CATL going to buy NIO Power? So there's rumors online that they're going to acquire a controlling stake in NIO Power, which could be very legitimate because they are seeking investment. They could invest some more, right? If they invest some more and their ownership of NIO Power exceeds 50%, then of course they own the controlling interest. So they could possibly invest more. And if this was a few years ago, like, is this good or bad for NIO? Is NIO selling out its future, right? Well, I'd say a few years ago, I'd say this is good. Okay, a few years ago, because back then, expanding, building all these swap stations cost a lot of money. But now, something that you got to realize is NIO is actually using other people's money. Like just today, they had a new partnership where another company is going to build 50 swap stations using NIO's tech, but of course, NIO is using their money. So that company is going to have ownership of these swap stations. NIO doesn't have to, put out its own money. And even during the earnings call, NIO has said that they're going to be using other people's money. So CapEx, when it comes to battery swap stations, will actually reduce, which is very, very good, right? That means it's not so much, they're spending so much money. It's more of like franchising. Exactly, franchising. So I'd say this is very good that they're franchising now, right? And it's not that capital intensive. But selling a majority stake of NIO Power to CATL, I think might be a fairly bad move right now. First of all, the valuations probably won't be too favorable because, let's be honest, most of these swap stations aren't exactly profitable yet. Okay, so you definitely do want to get to a certain scale, and hopefully like every swap station gets at least 100 orders per day. Like that would be very profitable for NIO. And by then, do you even need to sell it, right? And it seems like it's a kind of like a desperate move to sort of get money for operations. And one thing you got to understand is with battery swap right now, like last video I talked about the 240 free swap vouchers, that means they're not going to get any revenue from these free battery swaps, right? It's very clear. But you are getting revenue from the car sale. So you're selling car, you're getting the revenue up front instead of spreading the revenue over a 5-year period, that battery swap revenue. So you're just sort of, in a sense, sacrificing the 5-year battery swap revenue to go for a car sale, to get the car sale direct upfront revenue. And you're able to generate a lot of upfront revenue by offering these kind of crazy battery swap incentives. And the thing is, if you sell a controlling stake in NIO Power, can you still do that? I don't think you can still do that in the future, down the line, right? Because it used to be left pocket money to the right pocket, but now it's, if CATL owns half of it, you probably have to pay CATL if you have these free swaps. So meaning the car owner doesn't pay, but NIO probably has to pay, NIO Power, the fees for these free swaps, free battery swaps, and that could be problematic. So I definitely hope that they do not sell NIO Power out. I mean, NIO Power is one of the things. Let's not forget, it's not just about the swap stations. It's also about the chargers. NIO has so many chargers. It has the most amount of chargers for any single EV company out there. And not just fast charging, but also super fast charging, and also destination chargers, which are like chargers in like some remote area up the mountain where normally you can't go there with an EV, but NIO's placed chargers there. So it's not just swap stations, it's also charging, right? So I really hope that they don't actually go through with this and don't get desperate enough to sell half of NIO Power, because NIO Power infrastructure is what I think is very, very valuable for NIO right now. Yeah. And going forward, it's going to expand. They're going to build more swap stations. They're going to have more partners are going to invest in more swap stations and jointly build these swap stations using their own money. So it's not actually going to be a huge money losing experience for NIO. Yeah. But that's my opinion for these battery swap stations and potentially selling to CATL. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.